if you guys look at this profile here on the weekly time frame, 65 minutes we're on right now, which is what you want to do to chart your weekly value areas. PVP 1 week. I know we've got a couple of new people in the Discord. The indicators that I use are in the indicators tab as well as the settings. So you can go and look at those and look at the settings for them. So let me get rid of initial balance really fast. Okay, previous week POC. So obviously we framed up a lot, right? We got that news, war potentially ending, and so the market rocketed. We are framing up massively. Value area low sitting here. This is an area we're going to want to pay attention to when we come back to it, if and when we come back to it here. You've got weekly POC, weekly value area high, and weekly current week value area low. Okay, so this is a stacked area right here. All right. Then the next thing we can do is look for our ledges here with both of these, and I would go up and include this ledge here, give them a bar above, and thus you're gonna get this guy here down to this guy right here. Okay, the weeklies are color coded in white, so let me change that to white. And for you guys that are new here, that have just recently joined the Discord, you can ask questions at any time about anything. Don't be scared to ask questions. And you can either type them, or you can talk in here. All right, at any time. Okay, looking at this here. Again, we framed up. We've got a whole bunch of single prints right here. A massive double distribution that is more than likely going to want to be cleaned up at some point, right? And here it kind of becomes debatable on whether or not to update this level here, right? Because we do have a balance added already. Okay, we've had this level sitting there for a while now. I think over a couple of weeks. So it does become a scenario where, do you leave that or do you update it? In this case, you would update it to here, right? You've got your ledge sitting in this area, and you can tell here you had absorption that came into the market in this area here, and it came in again right here. Okay, so it is significant, right? It is something that we do want to pay attention to. Anybody else see anything here in this profile that would grab your attention? Anybody?
Was there like a double distribution on those last 3 days?
Yeah, we've got a double distribution sitting right here. A significant double distribution, and we're getting validation on that, because remember, we've already had this monthly level. Well, I have anyways. I know some of you guys are starting to chart on your own, which I prefer you guys do that. You can use my chart as reference, but the whole idea of this is to get you guys to be able to trade on your own, and not need me, right? This is a level that I've had there for a while now. And, we got our imbalance candle here, our aggressive buyers that broke our level here. Okay. And now, the $1 million question is, are they going to hold this or not? Right. So, what's the name of that on here right now? I don't think. But somebody kind of asked me earlier about this level here. Right, so now that we've got our double distribution sitting here, right, we've had our monthly level of resistance sitting right here, okay, I think Colby recommended swing puts on QQQs for you guys that trade options as well. Or if you have a cash account, you can hold, but you know, that's a different story or a different topic, margins and all that. You know, this was a good swing short here. Okay, now just looking at this, to not overcomplicate it too much, I haven't updated yet the daily levels. Okay, so maybe we can go and do that real quick. Got a compressed profile here. Okay, what does that tell you guys?
They're accumulating.
Yeah, profiles start to get compressed. It can be a signal that we're running out of steam, right? They're accumulating and we're running out of steam here, potentially, right? You know, if you're really bullish, right, or if your directional performance is high, meaning, you know, like this here, directional performance is high, right? You're getting a lot of activity, a lot of buying, thus you get a wide profile, right? You know, here on this daily, right? I mean, it goes all the way down to here. You just can't see it, but really it goes all the way down to there, right? Another thing that we can clearly see here is we've got a 2-day overlap here, right? However, I really don't like, you know, I tell you guys, I really don't like to grab, you know, ranges, meaning, you know, this value area is contained fully within this one. But whenever I have, you know, accumulation down here and then we get a move to the upside, I'd rather, if I'm going to look at any sort of balance, I'd rather grab from, essentially you can go from this candle or you can go from this one, right? And look at the accumulation that way and ignore this, even though the value area is overlapping. Okay, hopefully if I'm not making sense to you guys or you're confused, again, you can ask. You can type it in the chat or you can ask here. Looking at this here, right, we do want to pay attention to this because a key to this, let me erase this here. I moved it, didn't mean to do that. Okay, that's our balance there. Let's hop back over to the 65-minute chart here. With this weekly profile, right? So you've got this double distribution. You've got previous month value area low sitting at the ledge of that double distribution. So this is all giving us extra confluence, right? We already have our level here. They're trying to defend it, right? You've got an imbalance of buyers that came into the market right here, okay? And so now that we have our level that has been sitting here for a while now, I think it's been over, you know, 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, right? Because this is the monthly level. So we keep those there for when we come back to them. Hence, here, you know, this level had already been sitting here before we got here. You hit it, you take your short, you target the level below, which this level had also already been sitting here, excuse me. You know, you trade from level to level. That's the system that we trade, right? So you come here, you short, you get out, you long here, okay? You target this one. You don't expect to break, but once they do break it, you take the retest long, right? That's the simple system. Here, you hit your level, you take it short, right? Now, the key here for what's going to potentially happen is, right, if these guys are very bullish and they are, you know, they're going to extend price even higher, potentially to this double stack weekly value area high and this previous month value area high, which we've got a level sitting here. What should they not do?
They shouldn't lose that 840 area.
Yeah, they shouldn't lose this, particularly this 836. Right? They should stay above this 836 area here if they're going to continue to push to the upside. Right? So this is going to be something that we want to pay attention to come Monday. Right? And not even just Monday. This is more of a weekly level here. It's a higher time frame level, so it could take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day it is, right? If they lose this level, well, then there's a pretty high chance that we're going to go and potentially fill out this area here, right? This area here. Hit this previous week POC at least, and then potentially come back and retest these buyers, right? If they lose this split, it's a double distribution split, right? So hopefully you guys can see this. One distribution, second, right? So again, you know, basically, don't overthink it here. Bulls need to keep it above this level here, and if they do, there's a high chance they're going to come back up. Easily, you'll get previous day value area high, previous month POC, and you're going to get a retest of these guys here. Okay, if they lose this, very high chance you're going to come and hit at least 824, 815, 804. And down here, you definitely want to be out of most of your shorts in this area. Okay, they've already shown you that there are, in fact, buyers in this area, right? So shorting, right? If you're holding shorts into this area, you know, whatever. If you're in short from up here and you want to swing for the fences and potentially target this guy, that's fine, right? But shorting anywhere in this vicinity right here, initiating a short in this area here, is absolutely just dumb. It's just a dumb way to trade. Okay, so you do not want to be looking for shorts here. You want to be looking for potential longs. Okay, so this is going to be a key thing to pay attention to for this week on ES, right? You know, if they can break this level here, again, you're going to target these 910s. You've got a double stack ledge sitting here at 923, so we can target this guy. This could be, we could call it target 2. Target 2. Okay. And if they break this level here, guys, there's a pretty damn high chance that you're going to go and hit this previous month value area high. Okay. If they announce, you know, that they've made some sort of deal, I think talks are going to continue tomorrow. From what I've read, I haven't read too much on it, but a couple things I've seen, they're going to supposedly continue the talks tomorrow. So, you know, depending on what they say, we could get a pretty big move up, right? If tonight, they say something bearish, do not be surprised if we open with a gap down below this level, in which case I would definitely be looking to short the market. Okay, so this level is absolutely crucial, right? The split here, this is going to let you know. Down, up. Okay. This level here, this 780 here, okay, if they lose that, that's going to be bearish. All right, if they lose this 780, that's going to be pretty bearish. Okay, you know, then you can target. You can look at your mid level here for these single prints here. You could do that. You could look for your mid. Okay, which essentially is going to be this guy here. This 834 is going to be a good target to have. Okay, if they lose this, they build value, meaning you get at least at a minimum 3 5-minute candles to close below here. You short this level here, targeting this 834 and potentially even lower, right? 6694s. Okay, so they're already showing you they're here. So if they're gonna, you know, what you do, right? These levels are pretty simple for you people that are new in here. The way we trade this is you long this level, right? I'm giving you both scenarios, right? These levels can work as SR flip levels, right? So it's support, You know, they lose it, it becomes resistance, right? In this scenario here, you can see, again, you know, for you people that are new in here, which there's a few of you, these levels had already been here, right? I want to emphasize that. These levels weren't added after the fact. They were already here before we ever got here, okay? And, you know, you can see how what I'm saying, it works, right? This level is already here. We sliced it. You came and hit our next level of resistance. You short that level, and you long this level when we get back to it, right? It's pretty simple stuff, right? And I'm just giving you the bearish scenario, right? A bullish scenario is they come into this level here. These buyers decide to defend again, right? They're not interested in going lower. They're interested in defending their position. You lose this level, you short here, you're happy, right? Okay, you should be out of most of your position by here. Around here, this is where you want to take a long and at least target previous week POC, right? That's bullish case scenario. They defend this area. Bearish case, they come in, they do not defend. You take a loss on that long, which is fine. You're going to take losses in trading. They build some value, meaning, you know, they're putting in lower lows, at least 3 5-minute candles. Maybe they do something like this where they chop around. They come back. You short it. Targeting this 834 and then lower this next zone down here. Okay. It's pretty simple stuff, right? This the way that I trade. I try to just take out. I try to take out as much decisions that I have to make as possible, right? It's a pretty simple type of trading system, right? It just play level to level, zone to zone, right? They're either going to hold or they're not. It's pretty simple. No need to really overcomplicate anything. All right. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing there on ES. Any questions on ES? No? Okay. Let's check out. Somebody asked me to do Apple. Have I charted Apple? Yeah, it's been a very long time. Been a very long time. Let's see here. And that's kind of funny because it's been I'll check out gold. It's been, I don't know when I got this level from, but it's been since 25, I think, 2025. And here we come back to it. We come back to it in 2026. I mean, I got it from, I guess I'm looking at around maybe November that I got this level from, probably from here. We come back to it a few months later, and you know, you're seeing how this system ultimately works out, right? Even without me looking at it, right? Again, I completely forgot I even had that level there. So you're kind of seeing the proof. Let's see. And this will kind of, you know, for you guys that are newer in here, or maybe just for everybody in general, it'll help you out here with just kind of charting you know, going from scratch here. Okay, you know, I'm honestly gonna be very surprised if they come up with a deal. Very, very surprised. Hopefully they do. I mean, You know, war is not good. So hopefully they come up with a deal, but I would be very surprised. I'm expecting some sort of bearish news to come out of that. Okay, let's see here. You know, again, just looking at this profile here, looking at these previous month levels that we've got going on here, you know, you've got your ledge essentially sitting right here. Okay, can everybody see that? So you've got your ledge essentially sitting here. You give them a bar above. And this here, for you guys that trade Apple, okay, you should have basically already yeah, I am not sure if I'll be able to get to crude tonight, but maybe tomorrow I'll be able to get to that, because I've got to get to Apple, and I've got to get to gold, and then I've got to get to what else did I promise to already get to? Amazon. So I'll try to get to it, like, if I don't take too long. I don't want to bore you guys too much. So again, here, guys, look, right? This is the system here, right? We look for aggressive buyers, aggressive sellers. We look for ledges, right, where areas getting protected. We also look at market structure. All these things together. We look for what was accomplished at what level. That is a very pivotal part of this strategy or system here, this edge, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, from here, they manage to, you know, give you changes of character here, you know, here, and essentially, did they make an equal high here, or did they take them out? No, they did not take them out here. I think they made an equal or a little bit lower high right here, right? And, you know, what for you guys that have been here for a while, you should already know what this is, right here. Right. Anybody remember or know what occurred there? Right.
Imbalance retest.
An imbalance retest. Yes, sir. And those imbalance retests are, you know, so key to this whole thing. And it goes back to what I was saying about what did they accomplish from this level, right? And who accomplished it, right? Market structure is basically letting you know, essentially, it's who, right? It's these guys at this level or at this high, right? That's what market structure essentially is. It's these people at this strong high, strong low, whatever it may be, accumulation accomplished X. So we're looking for them to potentially protect, defend, whatever you want to call it, their position, right? And so this is an imbalance retest here, right? And from here, they protected, right? They were absorbing buyers that were coming into the market here, and essentially this is where they ran the market down, right? And so look what happens, right? We get right up to them. Apple got right up to them, and to me, what does it look like they did there? Defended the position. They defended the position, right? And remember, right here we're looking at monthly levels, right? You can break this down into a daily or a weekly, right? But when you're talking about monthly levels like this, in a monthly imbalance with a retest that accomplished a big move to the downside, those are the types of locations where you want to swing shorts, right, and or longs, right? This works the exact same to the upside. So those are the exact levels where you want to, again, you want to swing from those levels. Why? Because that's where you're going to actually make some money in the market, right? That's where you're going to get this type of move that comes into the market. right? Now you're gonna have to, have the discipline to hold the trade, right, and not take profit right away. You gotta trust the level. Um, and with options, it becomes trickier because you do have to deal with theta, and obviously this is a longer period of time, right? We're looking at a monthly time frame here. So, had you entered short here, you're talking Friday, this Friday, Friday. I mean, now you're talking about the 11th, 12th. So you're talking about basically a week, you get another pullback. So theta's working against you there, right? And then eventually you get your break to the downside. Now, what you can do to try to minimize that with options, and this is going to require more discipline from you, is you can wait for a retest, right? So you can look at market structure here, and this is essentially, this area here becomes your last area where, they try to, this is your last strong low, right? You could count this as your pullback, or you could grab this guy, right? So here, right? They give you a break, right? What is this? What do they give you here? Anybody?
Guess that's a change.
Change of character, right? So you're going from being in an uptrend to now you've got a change of character. They give you the pullback, and again, guys, I'm not bullshitting you. I had not. I completely forgot that I had this level here. I do not even remember why or how I got it, right? Or I know how I got it, I guess, but I don't remember why I put it there, right? I don't remember who asked me for a level there. The point is, right, look at what happens. Right. They come back and they hit the very top of our level here. And again, you've got protection here, you've got protection here. You can put your stop loss right above this high. And then from there, ultimately, you get your execution to the downside.
Is there a broken higher that considered sweet, or would that be a change of character and expect look more to the upside?
Yeah, then I would expect more to the upside. Yeah. Usually when you break a high like that, where you break a retest of like this here, usually it's going to be accompanied. It's going to be accompanied by what? Yep. Yeah. If you have strong sellers, which you do have here, they've already shown themselves to be strong sellers. You're going to need strong buyers, right? A weak opponent can't beat a strong opponent generally, right? If somebody's really strong, you got to be equally as strong as that person, generally, right? So you're going to get some sort of imbalance buying, right? So this could have potentially have been it, right? Here, a bullish case scenario is this candle, they followed through on it, which it's extending to the right, and I don't want it to right now. So here, they could have potentially given you something like this, right? At this candle here, instead of rejecting here, they could have given you something like this. You get an imbalance, then they defend right here. They come back. That's where you take your long, right? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So, I mean, you're seeing it there, guys. I mean, no bullshit. That level was sitting there. I did not put it there before the fact. I promise you. So you're seeing how these things work out. What kind of setup did we get here for you guys that have been here for a little while? On this pullback here. Accumulation setup. Yes, sir. We got an accumulation setup here. Right? So again, on the 4 hour, I don't really like to look at the 4 hour too much like this, looking at an accumulation setup, just because a lot of times the profile isn't as clean. So maybe you could go look at a weekly or something like that. But yeah, this is an accumulation setup. Okay, they came back, hit this little accumulation here from where they sold off. So again, same concept still applies, right? You're looking at them to come back and defend that position, right? What do they accomplish? Well, from this accumulation, they accomplished excuse me, a significant move to the downside, right? So when they come back to it, again here, you can, for these accumulation setups, depending on how wide your stop needs to be, that depends on how heavy you want to go. You can look for, the biggest part of your ledge, or what you can do is you can go to your, first sig, right? Instead of looking at the third sig, which is what I had there, or the second I think I had, you can go for your first sig, which is your first standard deviation, 68% of the value. That's going to give you a compressed profile. It went from being up here to now being down here, and then thus you can, use that. Also, looking at this, when I ran U.S. negotiation ended, two sides have not reached an agreement. Yeah, I don't think they will. You can look for, the thing to also do here is I recommend you look for the lowest volume, the lowest LVN, right? You can see here we've got multiples. We got one here, and one here. Look for the one that is the lowest, right? This one here is the lowest. Okay, you can see this one's 6 further out, this one's 6 further out, this one's 6 lower out, and you've got that same retest that came into the market here, as well as your second, your value area high, for this accumulation sitting here. So you could place your stop loss right above this guy here, and ultimately, again, this is your accumulation setup to short the market back down. Does everybody understand that? Any questions on that?
So your input would be the POC, and then you use the LVN as your stop, basically.
Yeah, you could do the POC if you want. Another way to play that is you can use the midpoint. You could draw literally a zone here. So this is going to be your stop loss, right? Right here at this ledge, right? You've already got a zone up there. You could do your POC, which would be this guy. Grab the POC, or you could just grab your standard, your whole value area here. Essentially, you've got your ledge sitting here, retest sitting here, and you could enter at the midpoint, right? The biggest key here is you've got to essentially just bite the bullet at some point and manage your risk. Meaning, if it's too wide for you, if the play is too wide for you, but your analysis is still, I'm short bias here, it's very simple, right? You don't need to really overthink it. The only thing you need to do is move your entry and your stop higher. And you just have to accept the fact that you might get missed out on that trade, right? It's way better to in my opinion, you should be looking to short here 100% of the time. But you've got to manage your risk, right? You've got to manage your risk. So if you know that your POC is here, but your stop needs to be above this guy, right? That becomes pretty wide. If you cannot take that trade, right? If you like, hey, if I take this trade, I'm going to lose a lot of money, and my account can't handle that. Well, you just scoot everything up. Okay, look for maybe an LVN. Again, draw your zone. You could do a whole zone there. Again, from here to here, enter at the midpoint. Instead of entering at the POC, enter at the midpoint. And maybe, unfortunately, do what?
I have a quick question about low volume modes.
Yes, sir.
What time frame are you looking for them at?
I look for them at basically all time frames. I don't ever go lower than the 5 minute. Um, so that's one. But I look for them on the weeklies, I look for them on the monthlies, and I look for them on the previous day's profile. Um, so are you familiar with volume profile?
Right. Yeah, like the session volume profile.
Yeah, session volume profile, um, the monthlies and the weeklies. And again, right, I look for what has this level accomplished, right? That's a big factor that a lot of people overlook. If you just go and you just look for low volume nodes, um, you know, you're gonna ultimately end up taking unnecessary losses, right? If you just simply blindly try to trade low volume nodes, um, all day, um, you know, it's not advantageous for you to do so, right? You want to, what did this level accomplish, right? What did these sellers get done, right? And so those are the low volume nodes that I'm particularly paying attention to. Does that make sense?
Okay, and yeah, it does. Like, and so if there's say like a monthly LVN, would that have like a higher weight compared to a weekly LVN?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. The monthly levels are always going to be stronger. Absolutely. Those are, and that's why I color code them. The pink ones are the monthly ones. The white ones are weekly, and then the blue ones are the previous day session. That way, also, it just gives another thing for me to not have to think about, right? Because if every one is the same color, then that's another thing I got to think about. Like, oh shit, what, you know, is this, kind of important or a really important level? So I color code them. That way, I know, like, hey, this is a monthly one. This is an area where we could really get a big move from.
Okay, sweet. Thanks, man.
Uh huh. Okay, so we've got monthly setup here. We've got our, basically guys, we've got our range sitting here. And again, I mean, you can see here, right, you're getting buyers that are coming into the market in this area. So just looking at this profile simply, right, without overthinking it too much, and just looking at naked price action, there are levels here where I can automatically see that are pretty important, right? This one in particular sticks out at me right here. Without even looking at volume profile, I can tell you there's probably going to be some sort of LVN in this area here. Without even really looking at it, we go and we look. I could be wrong, but pretty sure there's going to be something here. Yeah, so here's your ledge, see? Right here. Got a little LVN here, but looking at volume profile, I would then be inclined to go just a little bit higher here and bring this up. This is why we also like to look at volume profile, right? And bring this up just a little bit more, just to tighten up the zone here, right? And so going back to the question that you're asking about low volume nodes, on a higher time frame perspective, right? What you can do is, you can grab your whole area, which would be this guy here, right? But that to me is too wide. So what I've managed to do, or what I've decided to do, is to incorporate them at the extremes, right? So essentially, what I'm looking to get here is, right, what's going to happen is, and you can already see it happen multiple times. What usually happens at these levels is, if you lose it, right, you can look. Here's an example here. Here's multiple examples, really. Here they try to defend it. Ultimately, they lose it, and it gets lost quickly. Right? It gets lost quickly, and then you get protection here, and you move to the downside. You get protection again here, you move to the downside. Then here, they break it, and it gets broken quickly. And then look, they protect it here, send price higher. Right? Here they lose it, and look, it gets sliced pretty quick. Right? So what I like to do now is I like to grab ledges of the, if it's on a higher time frame level, I like to grab the ledge, okay, of the LVN. Does that make sense? to everybody? Hopefully it does. Because what I'm
The other doesn't matter more than the other. Like they're equally important.
Yeah, they're both equally important just because, you know, if we come and reject the level that we're at now, what's going to happen is from here, they're going to, you know, they're going to come in, they're going to reject this level here, and they're ultimately going to send this thing back down. Right. Now, if they break this, they're probably going to break it like they have been breaking it with a aggressive buying, but really the confirmation is going to be, can they reclaim this, pull back, send this thing back up. Right, let me update these weekly levels here. I mean, look at this massive ledge sitting right here at our level, right? And look at that retest. Right, volume profile is showing you this stuff here without, you know, I've just done it so much now that I can start to see where it's going to be at. But ultimately, you still need volume profile. I mean, you guys just saw how I managed to make that level better by looking at volume profile, right? So, but once you start to put in enough seat time, you'll be able to start to roughly see where the things are going to be at. Where those ledges are going to be created and such and such. Let me see here, weekly. Update these weekly here to get a perspective here. Okay, weekly value area high sitting here. Weekly POC is lining up with our monthly value area high, so that's giving us confluence of the importance of that level. Now weekly value area low is lining up with previous month POC, which is also giving us confluence of that level. They're pretty much stacked together. Okay. You've got a VPOC sitting here that wants to get ultimately retested. However, right, looking at this profile here, they did accumulate here. They have given you now changes of character to the upside. You know, starting from here, okay. Here you found aggressive buying. They came out, took these guys out, came back, gave you a pullback. Now we're going higher. The question is, right, can they, if you look at this weekly profile here, now we start breaking it down into a smaller time frame, right? And now looking at this here, can these buyers in this area defend their position here? It's going to be white because it's weekly, right? You've got a P-shaped profile now. So ideally here, this is a little bit of a tricky situation here because you are running into a VPOC with this guy sitting here. So we are not fully in the clear yet, right? What would make this a better play on the long side would be a potential break of this high here. They come and hit that VPOC, right? They do something like this. They come and hit this VPOC right here. They give you change of character here. They pull back. Now these buyers have done something, right? And so now they pull back here. You take the market long, targeting 266. Right? That would be a good play to take there. Okay. You've got another VPOC sitting here that's sitting at this monthly. It's sitting here at this monthly. What is this level? Oh, that was a change of character. Excuse me. That's not a monthly level. The change of character there. Okay, you've got a VPOC sitting here. Also, it's the bottom of our accumulation. You could expect here if you draw your FRVP, you should get your value area low of this accumulation somewhere in this area, right? So what you could do here is you could grab this ledge, this weekly ledge, to this VPOC, and here you could go and write weekly ledge plus VPOC. Right, and this is going to be a good target if they defend this area. Right, again, on the way up, this is what I would do. On the way up, you could do target 1, you could do target 2, and target 3 would be this guy. So here you could put target 2, target 1. That's kind of what I'm seeing there. If they lose this level here, there's a pretty high chance they're going to come in and ultimately just trade throughout this area again. And you can see they're chopping here a lot, so don't be surprised if you get a lot of chop throughout this area. Right, losing this guy here would be could potentially send us back down. You've got a monthly VPOC sitting here. So let me just do this here. Right here. Monthly ledge VPOC. Again, we go back to the original question. What happened from this level? And, what happened here, guys, from this level right here?
The entire move to the upside.
The entire move. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is where you got all-time highs from. Right? This is where you got all-time highs from. So, what do you expect here?
Then to defend.
Yeah, this is where you buy. Just buy. Just fucking buy the market right here. No questions asked, you buy the market. Right.
Is that because it's a ledge, or would you do it if it was just a VPOC?
Yeah, VPOC and a ledge, and you got all-time highs from here. I mean, you're getting multiple pieces of higher time frame confluence from this area. Right, remember, we're not looking at a daily level here. We're looking at a monthly level that created a new all-time high. So this is where you hit that buy, right? They come into your zone here. This is where you go ahead and you just take it long. And at a very, very minimum, you want to target this guy. And this is one of those times where I will bend the rules. And instead of shorting here, I would keep some of that play here, right? Or what I would do, right? There is a chance, and for you guys, a lot of you guys that lack the ability to hold your position and get shooken out easily, right? It comes with time being able to override your emotions and hold on to a position. A possibility that can happen here, guys, is they do this and then they come back and then they ultimately do this, right? So, me personally, I'm holding most of that position. I would trim some here, but if you want, you could get out of that position here and then wait for a reclaim of this level, look for a pullback and long it. Or you could get out completely here, wait for a pullback to here and re-enter. Right, those are ways that you can play the market there. It just becomes of what you're willing to endure as far as, you know, getting pullbacks. This is the perfect example here where, you know, you come in, you reject nicely, but then they give you a pullback. A lot of you guys can't handle that, right? Not yet anyways. A lot of you guys are still struggling with that. So, you know, you could take in this scenario here, it's kind of the same setup, right? You could take profit at the last strong low here, and, you know, you could re-enter, right? What's going to happen there is sometimes they're going to slice the level. Like from here, they could have easily just kept going down. So you would get missed out ultimately, right? But then, you know, you have more levels to, again, like I said, wait for them to break this level, reclaim it, and then look for some sort of support here to continue to take the market long. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? Losing this level here, you're going to go and fill this gap quickly, right? If you lose 238, 33 basically, you're going to go and hit 234s pretty fast. That's going to be coming in hot, right? And, you know, potentially you go and you look at this. I don't like how this is sitting there. I mean, this peak above here, I don't like that. As far as looking at volume profile anyways, but let's just grab this accumulation here before they gapped up out of it. Okay, you got a ledge sitting here, right here on this accumulation. First sig is sitting right here at 231.97. POC sitting 228.17. This guy here, you know, if you lose this level, guys, there's a very high chance you're gonna at least, at a minimum, fill the gap at 234.27. Then you're gonna go to 232 flat. But I would ideally, right, from this level, look for at least this first sig, 232.03 and 228 flat. Right, this would be bearish, very bearish if they lose this level here. And I'll leave this here. You guys that are in the Discord have access to, you know, my charts. I just ask that you don't share them with other people that are not in here. But you guys should have access to them, right? So you can go and look at a, you know, a viewer mode or whatever and look and see, you know, the levels that are here. All right. And that's kind of what I'm looking at there for Apple. Pretty simple. You're going to be key levels. And again, you know, just play the levels. You come up from the bottom, you short it, you break it, you look for support, you take it long. Pretty simple. Right. Again, you know, we're charting this after the fact, but, you know, this is, again, you know, where you really want to take those swing positions from, and where you can really make a lot of money from, right? From here, this is that type of level where you could go and, you know, easily, you know, hit here, hit here, hit here, very easily. All right, that's what I got for Apple. I can do, let's do one more here. And if you guys have any questions, again, feel free to ask. Have I ever charted an Amazon? I don't think so. Yeah, maybe when I go full-time trading, I'll start to trade stocks again, but dealing with Theta just really pisses me off. It's like whoever did that, it's like that's some bullshit. Let's see here. Amazon must have got some news, gapped up, and held it too. Let's see here. This does need to be cleaned up though here with Amazon, big time. Looking at this here from this perspective, right? And look at how this is lining up here, guys. This is what I mean by this stuff it's pretty funny how it all works out. It's all algorithms. This is why it does this, just because it's algorithms. You know, for you guys that have been here for a while, you know how we like to look at these stacked value areas here. Okay, does everybody see this? You've got value area low, value area high, POC, value area low, value area high, POC. Right.
So that would be like have the most weight over everything else.
Pretty much. It's going to be important. Yeah, it's going to be very important. And look at what occurs here, right? Remember, we always like to give them a bar below, right? Your POC is sitting here. You give them a bar below that, right? That becomes your zone, right? Now look at this, guys. I mean, look at what happens when they break it. Look at the retest they give you. What a coincidence that. Am I looking at the right Amazon? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah.
They have some
But it looks so, yeah, it looks like I'm looking at an old symbol here.
Yeah, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, no, this doesn't look right. Amazon.
That's like up top.
Yeah. Let me see here. What's the ticker symbol for that? NASDAQ. Okay, well I have charted it then. I thought I had. That's why I was like, I thought I had charted this before. At some point. And look. These levels here, guys, I promise you again, I have not touched Amazon in like, I don't know how damn long it's been since I've touched Amazon. But these levels work. I mean, they just work. Look at this. I promise on everything, I have not looked at Amazon in, I don't know, however many months. Look at that. Support. This just happened, right? This just happened. When did this happen? Wednesday. So this happened, what, last week? They gapped up above the level here that I had. And they rocket from it. It's pretty crazy. Pretty wild, honestly. This is why I say you just gotta trust the levels. You just gotta have faith. But you guys just saw how I got that level on that other Amazon that wasn't the right one, though. You saw that, right? It's the same level. Right? Same level. Man, Amazon really took off. Did they have some crazy news that came? Didn't they? I thought somebody posted something in the chat about Amazon buying something or doing something.
I think it was just war news.
War news?
That made it.
Yeah, that made it go. Yeah, it did make everything go up. Yeah. You are correct about that. Everything did that. So I hadn't charted Amazon. 'Cause now I'm looking at these weekly levels. I hadn't charted Amazon since September of 25. The last time I looked at Amazon, because these value areas are lining up here with this week. So I guess this is the last time I looked at Amazon here. It was September of 2025. Let's see here.
Already tested 212, looks good.
212.
If they get that.
Yeah, here. Let's update
Yeah,
this
right
real
around that
quick.
area. That's the level you got.
Yeah, let's update this real fast. We can make it better. We can definitely make this better here. Right there. That's going to be the golden ticket. Yeah, they lose this. There's a very high chance if they lose this level here, guys. There's a very, very high chance you're going to come and hit your previous month value area high. You're going to come and hit this zone here. Very high chance.
All that stuff stacked as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm debating here. Yeah, definitely. You do have, you got your POC, monthly POC, previous month value area low. You know, that's a higher time frame level that's stacked. You've got POC, value area high, value area low, value area low, value area low, value area low. So, give me just 1 second here. So yeah, I definitely want to pay attention. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. My mom is texting me. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, definitely want to pay attention to this level here. For sure. That one you could have left it pink because it's basically a monthly level, but you're getting, yeah, whatever. Yeah, definitely want to pay attention to that. No, because you know a good habit to have, honestly, is to have to put your levels lower than you think. Right, because that's going to give you a better entry. Right, a lot of the times the market is going to come. Yeah, I'm recording this. I'm going to put this on YouTube, I think. So it's been a long time to put a class video on YouTube also. So maybe some randoms on YouTube can come across it and learn the magic sauce here. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh, yeah. You want to put your entries, your zones a little bit lower than you think, because most of the time it's going to come damn near close to the bottom of your zone. Right? Does that make sense? You know, the reason... Go ahead.
Midpoint, basically.
Yeah, at least. And then, you know, the higher you put your zone, the higher chance you have of you know, making a mental error as far as entering too early, that type of stuff. And then if you enter too early and you're thinking about, damn, I'm going to lose this X amount of money, you know, so I'm going to put my stop randomly. which, you know, we're supposed to put our stop a point below the level or two at a maximum, but that's with futures, right? But with stocks, again, it becomes a little bit more tricky. Because again, you got to deal with theta. You know, you could be, you know, right here at your original entry. Let's say you're risking $100, just for argument's sake. You know, but by the time they get back down to here, you could be down close to, I don't know, $80, right? And so, but originally you want your stop to be here, so now you've got to lower that risk due to theta, right? So it becomes trickier as far as your stop loss goes. With futures, you know, we usually just give them a point or two below that level that we have. So, you know, you definitely want to don't worry about making your zones too small, right? Don't let that be some sort of a contention when it comes to charting. Don't overthink it, right? It's better to have your zones be smaller, right? AKA closer to your stop loss. Does that make sense? You know what we always say, you want to enter as close to your stop loss as possible. That is the key to having a small risk, right? So that you can have a larger reward and you can stay in the game longer, right? You can make more mistakes. You're going to take smaller losses, and you know, your account can handle taking those smaller losses. But if you are, you know, if you're taking, you know, wide stops frequently, your account's gonna get blown pretty quickly, right? So it's better to, you know, to enter as close to your stop as possible. Yeah, there's a considerable gap here to be filled. You've got your previous week POC sitting here. So just looking at this from an intraday time frame perspective here, you know, if Amazon, let's say come Monday, can lose 236.73 and give you a pullback into this level here, this is where I would be looking to short the market at 237.75 with the stop loss potentially above here, above 238.45. Looking for a move like this, right? They take this low out here, they give you a pullback into this area right here. Again, if you could have your entry a little bit higher, that'd be better. 237.95, somewhere around here, close to this previous week POC, and look for a potential gap fill here. Right, first target needs to be obviously this guy, and then leave your runner down to here. Right, that's a potential play for come Monday, depending on where they open and what they do. I mean, they're leaving behind a whole bunch of shitty price action here. The structure, anyways, structure is not good. The market usually likes to clean that up at some point. Right, at some point. Officially broken out of that. Yeah, bulls can open with a gap up come Monday here. Trying to see here. This is why you want to trim, honestly. Looking at this now, looking at this balance that we had here, and looking at price action when we have broken that balance, this is going to be actually a key level here. So this is going to be bullish as long as they stay above this level. Okay. So if they can stay above this level, look for continuation. Again, that short here is still a decent short, but you definitely want to be out of most of the, pretty much all of it, honestly. I'd be out of all of it here, and I would try it long at this area. Now, if they lose this, being that we're looking at this balance here now, you would be falling back into this balance, and thus look what happens pretty much every time we fall back into that balance, right? It's been happening over and over here. Peaked above it here, built value below, came back, flushed, right? Here, same thing. They peaked above it here, came back in, ultimately flushed. Here, again, they peaked above it, closed back inside of it, flushed, right? Here, this one, it's starting to get tricky here. They came to it, ultimately rejected, right? They broke it with aggressive buying here. They protected, right? They tried to protect. Then ultimately, the next day, they opened at it, flushed, right? So this level here is telling you that it's pretty important. And look, this is why they gapped up above it, right? So what we can expect here is if they, at any point this coming up week here, or maybe even in a couple weeks, whenever it happens, right? Whenever it happens, that's the thing about these levels. Whenever they get hit, just trade them, right? That's the most important thing. It could be in a week, it could be in 2 weeks, it could be in 3 weeks. But whenever they do get hit, just trade them, right? So for now, look for this level to be held, right? This short is still a decent short to take. Looking for a retest of these buyers, okay? I would definitely try to long this. If you take a loss, wait for them. The key here, guys, especially for you new guys, is wait for them to build value, meaning you want them to do what they have done here, right? You want them to build some value below the level, meaning they come in, they lose the level, they build value, which is what this is, right? They're trading under it completely, not just a little peak below here, and then they pull back into your level. That's when you can execute that short, right? You want value to be built below it, okay? So this level is going to be key here for either continuation or a breakdown, right? If these buyers come in and they do defend this level, you know, a good target to have here is going to be these 41s, 241.53 to basically 240.71. It's going to be a decent target to have. You know, again here from this level, you had your essentially where you had that retest here, that absorption that came into the market here. This is going to be another higher time frame level. I would definitely, absolutely look to short the market here. And this would be a swing short position on Amazon. This is where I would swing puts from this level, if they give it to you.
That's just based off looking at market structure right there.
Yeah, just based off looking at market structure. Yep. This area here is going to be pretty important. Weekly POC sitting, monthly POC, excuse me, sitting there. Value area low sitting here. You could scoot this up just a little bit to get that POC, just to get the POC flat there. Again, scoot everything up a little bit. But yeah, definitely. If they give you this area here, guys, I would definitely look to short 250.45. Stop above this guy here.
Middle of the LBN, basically.
Yeah, you got the retest sitting here, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, you got the retest sitting here, and yeah, this is basically the ledge right here. But I'm going to go ahead and include this retest. Right, just because again, remember, I tell you guys what did they accomplish, right? And this is that retest from where they accomplished this huge move to the downside. So I know he's basically sitting in this area, right? So we look to add market structure, volume profile, and who basically market structure is telling you who accomplished what. And this guy here, whoever this is, whoever this bank is, right, accomplished this. Move to the downside from here. And it looks like he's protecting. Right, so we're coming back to him, potentially coming back to him. Right, so these are going to be the key levels to play from on Amazon. Any questions on Amazon? Okay, we're getting to the end of the road here. Let's look at gold. Have I updated these monthly levels on gold? No. Gold is essentially like in just a massive range right now. Looking at this profile here, what do you guys see here that should stick out to you? We've gone over it a few times already here. Anybody? Talked about it a few times already on different tickers. Nobody? I'll tell you guys. Here, you've got your retest of this imbalance of sellers here. Right here, right? Accompanied by this ledge sitting here. Monthly ledge sitting here. Monthly LBN right here, excuse me. LBN ledge sitting here. Right? So for gold, this was your swing short here at gold for gold. Right? Now gold here has fallen back inside of this zone here. Looks like they just wanted to go back up and retest those sellers there. They peaked above our level. Now they have come back in. It looks to be, this is where you had your aggressive buying come into the market. Now, right, look at this. We probably need to look at it from a smaller time frame to really get a good, let's go over to weekly. You know, this stuff works for everything, guys. You can trade anything and everything with this. You know, we're looking at stocks. Now we're looking here at futures, gold. And gold really just ranged throughout here. Okay, yeah. Alright, so this is kind of that same type of setup here that we're discussing that can possibly play out with, what were we just looking at? Amazon, where they peak above that level. They keep peaking above it and failing. So here they peaked above this level here. You know, looking at this 30-minute chart here, this was your last strong, excuse me, no, that's incorrect. This was a weak low here. They came back. They did not retake it. This was your last strong low right here. Sorry. Maybe let me get rid of this so you guys can see this clear. This is your last retest of these aggressive buyers and balance buying that came into the market here. They ultimately did not defend it. They pull back, okay, and they keep executing lower. All right. Now they have completely taken this original candle here, where that whatever it was, news that came in, whatever this was, they have taken them out, right? And managed to take those guys out. So here they've given you the pullback short. This is going to continue to be resistance here for gold. Okay. You know, if they lose this area here on gold, this coming up week here, pay attention to this guy. They lose this, good chance they're going to come back, test these 463.35. I mean 46.35. Okay, right there on gold. Previous month value area low sitting here. You definitely want to pay attention to this guy right here. I would look to take a long in this area on gold. These are the three areas where I'm most interested here on gold. Okay, again, if you pay attention to this, right, you should always, guys, whenever you have a big move to the up or downside, you should always look for where is that retest, right? Where is that retest after the imbalance of selling came into the market, where they initiated it, right? Where the initiation is, which is here, right? We had this level sitting here. Right, they tried to defend it, but ultimately somebody initiated a strong, aggressive move to the downside. Right. So again, you know, when they do that, you want to mark it, right? You could mark it. You could put retest here, higher time frame retest. You could put short here. Whatever it is, you should not be holding along into this area. Absolutely. Let's just leave it there. Text. Okay. You should definitely not be holding, you know, a large position, long position in this area. I mean, that's just not the way to go, right? You're ultimately going to get you know, taught a lesson here. So always have those in mind. Okay. But that's what I'm seeing here. Gold, I'd be looking to short it in this area here. I'd look for these guys to keep defending it. So if they pull back into this area, I would like to short it, stop above here. You could put your stop at 48.48. So ideally, again, you at least get the midpoint here, and you do want to go light because your stop does have to be pretty wide, by the way. Or you could scoot up your entry up into this area here. And minimize that exposure. whatever way you want to play it will be fine. Okay, but these three guys are going to be key here. And then for continuation bullish scenario here, to be able to come and hit these 5,000s, which I think money was calling for that to be able to happen, realistically, you do need to take out these higher time frame sellers here. Okay, and then look for this to become your SR flip area. And when this happens, we'll probably get an LVN created or something like that. And we'll be able to maybe update a level up in this area to take along from. But, you know, for this to be in the picture, guys, you do have to take this guy out here. Okay. Obviously, a reclaim of this would send us to here. You know, the same old, same old. Right. And that's it on gold. Any questions? Anybody? I think that's going to be it for me today.
The short that you called right there on gold with the 48-48, is that just playing the upper part of your level?
Yeah.
Stop 2 points above the level?
Yeah, that's all it is, right? And then here, this is kind of where they initiated this move here. Right here, it looks like they were absorbing buyers in this general area here. So again, you know, you could enter here at this 48-48. Up here in this higher area here, and then yeah, your stop right here, right, 48-48. Right, you understand why, right?
Yes, initially one of your stop above the annihilation. This has to retest.
Yeah, this is kind of that retest where they initiated this move from. Definitely.
So would you want to expand your zone to make it a little wider, or no, like the level?
You can. You know, it just.
But no point.
Yeah, not really a point. I can see that they're here, so you just put your protection, you know, right above them. Right, it really makes no difference. If it helps you visually, right, you can do it. That's up to you. You know, I know some people change the color of their candles because, you know, seeing red if they want to go long. I've read that some people just change the color from red because red has something to do with, I forget what it was that I read. So some people change the color of their candles because, you know, green means money, and subconsciously they, you know, correlate that with this and that, and it gives them a negative emotion. I don't fucking know, but you know, so whatever works for you, right? You could color code these differently if you want. You could do different colors. You could change the color of your candles. The point is, or the bigger picture is, you know, you trade the levels, and you use your stop, and you trade logically based off of factual information and not emotional information, right? Which is not information, it's just emotions, right? So that's the key to trading, right? Do everything objectively, not emotionally. That is the biggest single piece of advice that I could give to everybody, is to trade logically. Okay, not emotionally. Quick rundown on TPO. Taz asked for TPO. Ledges, just a quick example here. I'm going to try to be quick because this has gone on for a while now. Ledges need to be three TPO wide. Okay, so you want to have three TPO blocks for that ledge to be considered on. Okay, we're on a weekly profile here. As you can see, obviously during the regular trading hours, we had a massive gap, right? This is one profile in and of itself, right? This guy here got a massive gap here. So, you know, TPO, you're going to use it in regular trading hours. So again, you've got this massive gap here. You have excess sitting here. This is why, you know, I'm telling you guys how important this level is, and, you know, you want to long this level no matter what. If they lose it, it doesn't matter. You take a loss, you move on. Don't get emotional. You wait for, you know, value to be built below. You look for that pullback, and then you short it, right? So here you have clear excess. You have more than 3 TPO blocks here. That's going to give you excess. Remember, you need 3 TPO at least to be considered excess. The more TPOs you have, the stronger the move was from that level. So here, 1, 2, 3, that officially considered excess. Then here you have 3 more, right? So you've got 6 total TPO blocks there. For you to have a ledge, a ledge like this, you want to have 3 TPO blocks there to be considered a ledge. So essentially, this is going to be your ledge sitting here. At weekly ledge at 68.4725. Okay, we've got a poor high sitting here right now. Only got 1 TPO block, so usually that likes to be cleaned up. Okay, and these are your single prints here. Right, essentially right here, these are your single prints. Meaning, think of it the same thing as excess, right? Like this here, aggressive buyers that came into the market here. Aggressive buying or selling, whatever happened, that's where you're going to get single prints at, right? Where you spend little time there. So this guy is what's giving us that single print. We spent very little time here. And then this is going to be that ledge that's starting to build here, right? That's how you can look at those. I don't really look at TPO that much, honestly. For the weeklies and the monthlies, I've found myself paying less and less attention to them. For the weeklies and the monthlies, where I really do look at TPO a lot. I really just look for like a big ledge, like a massive ledge. That's something that I'll pay attention to. Single prints is something that I'll pay attention to. Excess like this, single prints here, right? That's something that I'll pay attention to. But really what I mainly use the TPO for these days, to be 100% honest with you, is the dailies. Right? That's really what I mainly use them for these days. That's what I like to pay attention to, the dailies. Because
Is it weird that on the weekly the value was still down low, the value area low?
yeah, it's still down there. Yeah, it's still down there. Yeah, it is a little bit weird, right? And yeah, it's strange, and it just this is what I mean by they're leaving behind a whole bunch of basically crappy structure, right? And the market usually likes to clean that up, right? So it's like a magnet, right? Think of it as a magnet, right? That's why, once you start to lose levels like this type of area, right? That value area low, right? We've got previous week value area low sitting here on volume profile. It becomes a pretty good magnet, right? It likes to get cleaned up. So usually the market, they don't like to leave this type of price action like this. It doesn't mean, right, you got to be careful. It's not something that you should look to be cleaned up immediately, right? As you can see here, they can defend and will defend often the levels, right? And, when you do lose a level like this becomes a pretty strong magnet. Definitely. But yeah, as far as TPO, that's basically it. I mean, looking for those ledges, looking for the single prints, the monthly single prints. You could definitely put those in your chart. A lot of people do, and they do work. Just where that single print is, I already have a volume profile level there. So it pretty much aligns. So it's like, these days I just find myself using a lot more volume profile for the, monthly levels and such. I will look at them from time to time, but really where I look at TPO from is regular trading hours and in the intraday. I do like to look at that as far as, excess early in the morning, stuff like that, when you start to frame up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? That's what I like to look at TPO for. And that's pretty much it. That's what I've got, guys. Any other questions? Yeah, I mean, what Sab is saying there. Yeah, you wanna, for you people that are new, I always like to say the same thing. What he's saying there in the chat. You want to buy red candles and you want to sell green ones, right? Meaning you want to get the most advantageous price to you. It's pretty simple. You don't, you don't want to buy green, right? To get the best price that you can possibly get. As far as, here we go on extended trading hours here. Like here, this candle at one point was red, super red, but you do have your level there. So, you want to buy that candle, right? You want to buy this sell-off candle at your level, right? That's going to give you the most advantageous price. If you want to see green before you start buying, well, instead of having your entry where you're supposed to have it, right? Think about it logically, right here. If you want to see green, you want to see confirmation for you to be able to buy the market. Well, you're really putting yourself at a major disadvantage. The only way that I would recommend you do that is you've got to be a lot more patient and you need way more time. Meaning, if price comes to your level here and you want to wait for green, anything like this to buy, think about it logically, right? If you just go and you think about this here, instead of, let's say you just put your entry here, right? 177, 178, call it 2 points below 176. Your stop loss sitting at 176, right? So here we're risking 9 points. So you're risking not almost 10 points, right? You're risking about 100% of your contract, right? So if you buy one MES here, you're risking about $50, call it, per contract, right? For one micro contract MES, yes. Right, and your target, let's say, is this, right? Let's just hypothetically say it's this. Here, this is a 3.3 risk to reward ratio trade, right? Which is great. If you can have a 3 risk to reward on your trades, that's about, that is pretty much where you want to be at. If you go, now, let's say you want to wait for green. I'm scared, so I want to wait for green. Well, let's say you buy here, just for argument's sake. Now you're gone up from a 3.33 risk reward ratio to a 1.6. That's dog shit. That is, you're on the fast track to blow your account. That's what that is, right? So this stuff, I mean, it is of crucial importance. Now let's say you wait for your midpoint, like we like to do on wider zones here. Now this becomes a 6.35 risk to reward instead of a 3.33. Right? Now you're risking here. Now you're risking 6 points. Right? So that means you could lose this trade, right? 5 times in a row. Same trade, being that you trade the same size every trade, right? You could lose this trade 5 times in a row, and on that 6th time, you will make that money all back. Right? You will be at break even. Even if you take 5 losses in a row, you will be at break even. Pretty good. Pretty good. Right? Since we know these levels work pretty damn well, the chances of a level like this failing 5 times in a row is pretty low. It's less than, to get 5 of those in a row to break, to be a loss, that would be pretty damn surprising to me. Right? So, It's just your emotions, guys. That's all it is. You gotta handle those emotions. But I buy red. I see this, I'm buying, right? And the other thing that I was talking about with you needing to be more patient, if you are going to be that type of trader, and that's what Colby does. Colby, I think, is probably the best trader in this Discord. That's what, he does something where he waits, right? He does like to see confirmation, but he likes to see it. This is not yet confirmation, guys. FYI. This is not yet confirmation, right? Confirmation comes here. And we did take this long. I called this long out here. You can go back in the chat. Look, I called this long out right here. I called it out in Keenan's Discord also. Okay, this is your confirmation here. You get your change of character. Break another high. Okay. This now becomes confirmation. Right here. This is why I called out that long. And I said, put your stop. I remember I put a white line and it was right here. I said, put stop there. Right. And so then this is where you can get in late on a trade. Okay. It's logical. Right. And now your stop loss is here. Right. But again, it comes down to the same thing. You ultimately have to be willing to buy red. Right? Because again, if you do the same thing where you want to wait for green to come into the market, you are massively skewing your results. I mean, just massively messing with your results again. Right? Same scenario, guys. I mean, this one here, right? Say you're targeting this guy here. Okay. Instead of having, a 7-point risk, well, you want to wait for confirmation. Now you start to chase the market here, whatever it may be, and guess what they do to you? They give you a nice little pullback. You can't handle that, and now you exit your trade, and then they give you the move. Right? So ultimately, it's always going to come down to buying red. Right? Or selling green. Right?
You're willing to take that trade there at a good level because of an accumulation?
Yeah, the accumulation they run up. Remember, we were on live with this trade. I don't. If you remember this trade here, we were on live, and we managed to catch this move at the beginning, and then when they pulled back into it, this was FOMC day, and it was a beautiful trading day. FOMC. Remember, I was talking shit about FOMC in the morning and how much I hate trading FOMC days, and it ended up being a really nice day. Maybe they were like, hey man, just go ahead and shut up. Here's some money. But yeah, they accumulated here and they ran it, right? But we took this long, I'm pretty sure, in the morning from here. I'm almost certain that we were in long down here in the morning.
Right, the next one over.
Yeah, this one.
Expected to come all the way back to your level.
No, I did not expect, because that's kind of what I'm saying here. Here they had already showed you, right? They came in pretty aggressively here. Now, here's another scenario. They take out this low and they come back to here. Will I take that long? Yes. Right? I'll take this long again. I'll take it again. If I take a loss here, I'll wait for them to pull back into this area and take long again. Right?
Okay, but the reason you're going to get in there is because of the accumulation.
Yeah, literally just because of that accumulation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. Here they remember on footprints. I don't know if you remember, but on footprints they came in pretty heavy here. I said there was some absorption going on in the market here. And then they retested it here. So the whole point was these guys that are absorbing sellers right here. I'm looking to see if they're going to defend, this accumulation, and then my stop is going to be right under that protection.
I see. Break that. It's basically invalidated move.
Yeah, it just means that they're going to possibly go lower, right, and come and hit these lows, and so it becomes a thing of managing your risk. In general, I'm looking to take the market long from this general area, right? But if I can minimize, if I can take a paper cut instead of cutting off my finger, right, that would be better for me, right? As far as managing my risk, I could theoretically say to myself, I expect buyers to be in this general area here, and I could be one of those traders that just doesn't want to take a loss, right? I just take it so personal that it just, it's like, whatever. I get so butthurt about taking a loss that I just cannot take it. And I'm not that type of trader, right? I really don't mind taking losses at all. And so instead of doing a trade like this where I'm risking 20 points, right? Why not do something like this where I'm risking 6 points, right? And then what'll happen is they'll come back down into this area and then retake my original trade, right? You give them a point below this level, 78, give them 77, right? Maybe you can even give them 76, just 2 points below it, right? And so I'll take that original trade again, right? Just target. And so instead of taking a 20-point risk, now here I'm taking a 6 risk, I'm taking a 5. So that's almost, excuse me, that's almost a 9-point difference, which to me is a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if you just take another paper cut, you just let them build value below.
Yeah, and then go for it again, right? Yeah, if I take another little loss there, then the level failed, and it is what it is, and then I'll look for them to build value below and then short that level, right? But but there's no point in having a massive stop like that. In my eyes, it's irresponsible. Yeah, you're throwing money away, right? If they lose this level, there's a high chance they're going to come back down to this one. So why am I? If I know if they lose this level, there's a high chance they're going to come to the bottom of this guy again. Why the hell would I just let the market just run against me, right? When I could just take my loss here and then re-enter down here. It makes no logical sense other than you just cannot take a loss. Right? You just cannot do it, right? There's people that just cannot do it. They just take it really personal, right? And that's the wrong way to think about trading. So yeah. Okay, I think that's it for me, guys. We'll see where we open up tomorrow, and I will be on Monday morning. See if we can catch some moves. All right. Have a good one, everybody.